The main character, Toby, is a 17-year-old boy, a typical quiet guy with eyes full of naive adoration for the past. He lives in a world of old records, yellowed posters, and forgotten stars. His life is boring and predictable. Working for his grandfather in a hot dog van, hanging out with his neighbor Kenny, and shyly falling in love with a classmate. But in Toby's heart there is another feeling. A fanatical love for Monica Valua, a former adult film star whose photographs he collects like relics. When his grandfather gives him a van, a symbol of adult life and family business, Toby sees it not as an opportunity, but as a sentence. He decides to sell the gift on the internet, and chance brings his dreams together. The buyer lives in Indiana, the very place where his goddess Monica will soon be performing. The boy decides to go. It will be his pilgrimage, from his gray youth to the world of his dreams. In an Indiana strip club, Toby sees Monica for the first time. Not the shining star of the 1970s, but a woman tired of life and forgotten promises. The young audience laughs, humiliating her for her wrinkles and fatigue. But Toby can't take it. He rushes to her defense like a knight without a sword. He is beaten up, and Monica is fired right off the stage for being unmarketable. And then the meeting he has been waiting for all his life takes place. Monica, having found out where her admirer lives, takes him from the hospital to her home. The former star's house turns out to be not a temple of glory, but a refuge for broken hopes. Dust, old photographs, empty bottles. Everything here screams of oblivion. She listens to the young man, thanks him for his actions, and steals his money while he sleeps. The next morning, Toby tries to stay, but fate rudely brings him back to reality. Monica's ex-husband comes in with their daughter, discussing how to reduce child support because of her work. Their cold conversation shatters the young man's last illusion. His dream turned out to be a woman who had been trampled by life, just as the audience had trampled him the day before. After the scandal at the house, Monica refuses to let her ex-husband in, and he, guessing that there is someone else in her life, leaves, threatening to take her daughter away. Toby, like a loyal puppy, stays by her side. He makes her breakfast and shows her his collection of old magazines and films where she is still young, radiant, and carefree. Monica smiles, but behind that smile is pain. Memories of the past, of the roles that made her famous and at the same time ruined her life. 13 years in a world where beauty depreciates faster than the dollar. And now she looks at her fan, so pure, so absurdly devoted, and asks him to leave. Toby, of course, doesn't understand. To him, she is not a fallen woman, but an ideal. He walks to the strip club parking lot and meets Claude, a collector who agrees to buy the van for $5,000. It seems like a chance to start all over again. But the money will only be available in 2 days. And all this time, Toby seems stuck between dream and disappointment. He goes back to Monica's house and sees her ex-husband rummaging through the mail. Toby takes pictures, as if he wants to capture evidence of the evil that prevents his idol from being happy. Soon he finds Monica in the city. She tries in vain to get a job at a beauty salon, but her past, recorded on film, prevents her from getting a second chance. She is kicked out of the salon and goes to a bar, in tears with a bottle and the bitter truth. "My name is Linda." She says that she has been offered to act again, for good money. But if her ex finds out, he will take her daughter away. And then there will be nothing left in her life. Toby picks her up drunk, like a rescuer carrying someone out of a fire, and takes her home. The next morning he buys fireworks deciding to throw a party for his goddess. In the evening, he takes her to a field. The sky, the sparks, the explosions, everything around them resembles a scene from a movie. Only no one is filming this movie. She laughs, and he looks at her as if she were a miracle. Monica talks about her dream: to move to Oregon, build a house in the woods, and be close to her daughter. Toby listens, spellbound. And then he confesses that he is a virgin. Monica smiles. This evening becomes an initiation for him, not into love, but into adulthood. The next morning he calls his grandfather, and trembling with excitement, announces that he is staying here with his woman. In a fit of mad romance, he even brings her daughter home, straight from school. But this gesture, heroic in his mind, turns into a disaster. Monica is furious. Because of him, she may lose her child forever. Coldly, harshly, like a knife blow, she says that last night meant nothing to her. And then the final blow. Monica agrees to be filmed. Without a face, without a name, just to survive. Toby leaves silently. On the bridge, he throws the magazines and posters into the river, the very ones he once treasured. Everything that connected him to the past is now sinking into the murky water. He sells the van and consults with Claude. What to do if you love a woman who is destroying herself? Claude answers simply, like a father to a son. If you want to help her, be prepared not to stay with her. Come on time, do what you can, and hope for the best. After everything that has happened, Toby takes an old bicycle from Claude and rides straight to an adult store. Not out of curiosity, but on business. He finds the set of a low-budget film starring Monica, who, out of desperation and hopelessness, has agreed to play the role again. Summoning his last ounce of strength, the boy pays $100 to get onto the set and hands Monica a note. I called the police. Run. This is not heroism. It is redemption. He wants to save the woman he once idealized. Monica leaves under the pretext of going for cigarettes and disappears. At that moment, the police burst in. Toby is arrested because he is a minor and, as usual, knew nothing. The police take him to Monica, since he said she was his mother. He gives her photos of her ex-husband. These pictures may help her in court. And then he shows her the $5,000 he earned by selling the van. Let's go to Oregon. Let's start over. You, me, and your daughter. But Monica smiles sadly. She understands that she is looking at a child, albeit one with a huge heart. She says bluntly, "You're not ready to be a father. You need to see the world. Find yourself a girl you can laugh with, not save." And, as if putting the final touch, she kisses him, quietly, gently, as if saying goodbye. He drives on, no longer a boy, but a man who has realized for the first time that love is not possession, but the ability to let go. Together with Claude, he draws a poster for hitchhiking and sets off on a journey. When he returns home, he learns that Amanda, a classmate who had always been there but whom he had never noticed before, had been looking for him. Toby recalls Monica's words and decides that it is time to follow her advice, to find a girl of the right age. Sometime later, he receives a letter. Monica, as she dreamed, is living with her daughter in Oregon. It's a simple phrase on paper, but it encapsulates a whole life in which everything has finally fallen into place. The film leaves behind not so much sadness as a light, bright nostalgia. It is a portrait of America without gloss, provincial, lonely, full of broken lives and quiet heroes who are simply trying to survive.